Hello, YouTube. It's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we are talking 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, Season 8, Episode 11. Use caution when opening. So we're just going to get on into it. Yeah, we got a lot to discuss in this episode. The first couple I want to talk, we met a new couple. The long wait has finally come. We met Elise and Joshua. Well, we met Elise, and we know Elise. But so, as we all know, we first originally had met Elise back on 90 Day Hunt for Love last summer. Remember on her first episode, she was showing her rear end to Rob and everything and making up with Rob. And then Rob didn't really want her because she was crazy. And then she ended up moving on and ended up hooking up with Carlo. And then Carlo went back to Tiffany, but then still chose Elise. And then her and Carlo tried to make it work after the resort, and it didn't work out. So now she's back on the hunt. So Elise, we seen her. She's going to go visit. We first seen her in Massachusetts for something, and then she goes down to Miami where she's from to see her parents. I guess her father just had surgery on his knees and stuff and everything, so she went to go check on him and everything. And then she told her parents, she's getting ready for this trip to Australia to be with this guy named Joshua. Now, Elise, according to Elise, she says that, her dating history is terrible. Her parents have been married for 40 years. She has a brother that's happily married and everything, but she's just Miss Wild Child, basically, and everything. And so, she also said that her parents wanted her to marry and be with a Jewish guy, but she wasn't into that and whatever and everything. She also opened up about an ex that opened up a credit card in her name and stole stole $50,000 and stuff and everything, which is crazy and everything, really crazy. So yeah, but she's just hoping that she could find love in Australia with this guy named Joshua. Now, with her living in Miami, there's, plenty of temptation in Miami. She says Miami boys are just not cutting it, basically. We seen Elise at her apartment. She has a cat named Stella. And the name Stella is normally a female name, but Stella is actually a boy. I guess her and her ex bought a cat, and they thought it was a girl, and so they named her Stella. And then when Stella had some issues, they took Stella to the vet, and the vet said that it's actually a boy, but she decided to keep the name Stella and still calling him her all the time and everything. And and the producers even asked her, why do you keep calling Stella her and everything? And she explained that. Little odd, but okay. Whatever. So we seen Elise go to meet up with her friends to talk about this Joshua guy. This Joshua guy is 39 years old. He lives in Australia, and he also has a kid that he really loves and everything. She meets up with her friends, and she tells her about this upcoming trip to Australia, and she says that that Joshua actually lives with his parents, and everybody's just like, oh no, and they're like, does he have money? And Elise was like, he doesn't have much money, but I don't care about that. It's almost like I want a genuine connection. And, for once, I'm so glad somebody someone like Elise finally wants that and is not mad that he probably don't have much money and stuff. And it's not only in the relationship for money, because she said that in the past she's dated people who did have money but didn't have that connection with her. And so she wants a genuine connection. So, but it's alarming because she said that when she goes to Australia, I guess this guy's gonna get a rental with a roommate while she's up there and stuff and everything. So it's just a little odd and everything. So everybody's they're a little taken back on it. And then Elise says that he sent her a text message saying that that was something that was very alarming. We don't know what that text message is, but it was something alarming as she gets ready and goes to Australia. I think I know what that text message is. I think it's because we've seen in the previews for an upcoming episode that he is probably living. His roommate is probably a female. And so, and we've seen in the preview, and it's still to come, that she's gonna be like flipping out on him at a bar about him living with a female. So I'm guessing that's kind of the start of what that text message is. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. So yeah, so I'm glad. And one thing also about Elise. Now I don't know if you guys remember this, but on 90 Day Hunt for Love, I think it was on the Between the Sheets or even on the episode, Elise admitted that she also used to date NFL players. I wonder who. Yeah, I really wonder who. And she also said that she's been proposed to like 5 times and said yes to 3, but never made it down to hour, something like that, and everything. Yeah, she's just been all over the place for 32 years old. So, but I'll tell you what, the Miami's where it's at. I want to experience Miami like firsthand. I mean, I've been to Miami, just driving through, passing through, just going to when I went on a cruise and stuff and everything. But I never got to, when I first went to Miami, it was just like in a drive-by to see the oohs and the ahs in Miami, but never got to fully hang out like at a Miami beach or anything, or go to a restaurant in Miami. So I would like to experience Miami, like full-blown Miami, one day, because apparently that's where it's at. So anyway, that was Elise and Joshua, or Elise. The next couple I want to talk is Laura and Bear Con. So we didn't see much of Bear Con in this episode, and they only have one scene. Bear Con went out to go do something after that nice little romantic boat ride that he took Laura, that he afforded from his gambling winnings. Laura's still in her oohs and ahs of him. She decides when Bear Con is gone, she's like, I gotta call some of my people back at home. Can you give me 30 minutes? He's like, yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna go do some things. So, and guess who Laura calls? She calls Mr. Michael. Remember Michael, her little best friend that we don't know like what they are in terms of their friendship that we met in the first 2 episodes. She decides to call him, and Michael really wishes that she would come home. And she said that she really thought about it a few times. And then Michael was just like, do you want me to come up there? And Laura was just like, honestly, I don't know yet. On one hand, like, it would be nice to have a third person. But on the second hand, I'm nervous about Michael's intentions, and plus, Bear Condon is not comfortable with my friendship with Michael, and he's gonna be pissed. And I'm just like, what do you expect? What do you expect? He is gonna be pissed. So she didn't give a definite answer with that, but we know Michael's coming. We've seen in the upcoming previews that Michael is coming, basically. So yeah, I really don't know who, like, what neither one of their intentions are, really. I think Laura probably low-key has feelings for Michael. Michael is just afraid to have feelings for Laura and everything, so this is why Laura moved on with Bear Con. I don't know. So it's really going to get messy as the rest of the season unfolds with Laura and Bear Con. But I mean, that was basically it with Laura and Bear Con. It's just Laura talking to Michael. Michael's gonna come to Turkey, and it's gonna stir up all kinds of drama. So yeah. So that was Laura and Bear Con. Next couple I want to talk is freaking Emma and Zied. So last week, You remember Emma and Zia went on to that desert for her birthday, and they're sleeping in tents. And remember, the whole time last week, Emma was just praying that Zia would propose to her and everything. But he was cold. He didn't want to. He did not want to do it. So, and then the next day, Emma opens up to him about her ex Muhammad, that and like their relationship and everything. And Z is taken aback. So this episode, we get the continuation from that conversation. And Zia did not take that really well, which I figured he would. Zia was just like, you had plenty of time to tell me all of this. Why are you waiting like now to tell me? And basically, you're pressuring me to marry you, but you have all these secrets and stuff and everything. And then, she deflected. She was like, yeah, well, you were talking to other girls and stuff and everything, and I didn't get mad about that. And he's like, yeah, but, this is different. Like you basically, you're pressuring me to marry you, but you have all these lies. And he was just like, I can't be in a relationship with you. Like, I'm done. I'm done. And Em was like, no, you're not breaking up with me. No, you were talking to other girls and stuff, and I forgave you because I love you. So I just did all this before I dated and before we were together, and now you want to break up with me? He's like, yeah, I'm just done because I'm just tired of you. And honestly, if this was any other kind of couple, I would understand Emma's side of this. But I think like the real reason why Zia is really, it's not the fact that I'm hearing this story. I think the story is just the icing on the cake. But I just think like before, with all the pressure of her wanting to get proposed to, and on top of that, her not really respecting his culture, is like kind of weighing on him and why he is acting the way he is acting. So, and yes, they were intimate a couple weeks ago. And I just think that I think she seduced him. I think that because realistically in Morocco, you're not really supposed to be doing all that stuff. And then she's going to bring that up there. She's like, oh, you want to tell everybody that we had sex? Didn't we not have sex? Didn't we have that sex? And he wouldn't admit it. He was just like, I'm done. And he took off the microphone, called a cab, and came and got him and left her in the desert. That was messed up to leave her in the desert. I will admit that. That's messed up. She's in a different country in the middle of nowhere. That's really messed up. At least take her back to pick up your things and so she could go somewhere else. This, let's just not be a complete a-hole with that, because she come calling him an a-hole. But yeah, I think he was just mentally drained from like Emma in general and stuff, and I feel like she did seduce him. Of course, when a girl seduces a guy, it's gonna be really hard for the guy to say no in those moments and stuff and everything. Just saying, I don't want it to turn to like a girl versus boy debate when it comes to stuff like that. But I personally think that she seduced him and he caved in, because she's been begging for that and everything. And I know that like when they were talking prior to her going to Morocco, he would tell her that, yeah, we're gonna do it and we're gonna do it. But he's all excited from everything that she's telling him. But she really doesn't respect the culture. She doesn't dress modest out there and stuff and everything. So I think that's why he's done, in my opinion, not just the fact that he heard this story. Is with everything else. So yeah, but that was that was Emma and Zia. Next couple I want to talk is Aviva and Stig. Oh my God. Now this is about to go, this is going to be in a downward spiral. So last week we left off with Aviva's Aunt Spring coming in and questioning Stig. And she pulled Stig to the side and pulled up a screenshot of Stig and another girl. And she was like, "Is that you?" This episode, we get the continuation of this. Aunt Spring and Stig were talking, and she had the receipts. Stig has just been all over the place. So she pulled up a picture of Stig like kissing this girl like on the cheek and everything, and he claims it's just a fan. And apparently, there's also a text message um as to and from this girl saying, and she has it in the phone as him saying that I'm gonna love you forever, something like that. And we're also at this bar place. We're also with like a friend of Stig's, and I guess her name is Corinne and everything, and she's outside with Aviva. And as Aunt Spring and Stig were talking, um, they decided to bring the girl Corinne into the conversation. And the girl Corinne said, like, Stig, this particular girl in this picture is actually my best friend and everything. And she says y'all been hooking up and stuff and everything. Now Stig is denying that, but this Corinne girl said that you did like message her or something, and I do know y'all been hooking up and stuff. So Aunt Spring was just like, you better tell Aviva this, or I will, and it's not going to be pretty and everything. So, like, Stig is just like, oh man, what the heck am I doing here? Aviva does not know any. She's outside, just like looking at it, saying, oh, this is a lot of commotion going on and everything, and I just don't know what to do and everything. So, after Aunt Spring and Corinne had the conversation with Stig, Stig and Aviva go back to the hotel room, and Stig laid it all out there. He was like, look, your Aunt Spring gets pulled up proof that I haven't been 100% faithful. She pulled up a picture of me kissing a girl on the cheek. He was like, I do that all the time. That's just one of my fans and everything. And Corinne said that there's like a text message and under him saying that I want to be with her forever, something like that and everything. And, Aviva's just like, I really don't know what to really believe. I don't know what to believe. Like, I don't know if I want to be with somebody who hasn't been 100% faithful. Like, why are you kissing like all your fans and stuff? And if Corinne personally knows this girl, basically something's pretty off with that and everything. Now, judging by the previews of next week, Corinne and Aviva are going to have the conversation, and they're going to call that girl and everything to see what's up, to see what really if Stig is for real or not. That's about to get messy, and I'm all for that. Yeah, I think Stig is in trouble. Stig's in a little bit of trouble, but Aviva really likes him, and she was just saying, you know what, it's all starting to make sense because he wants to, because last week I was just saying that she was mad that he wanted to start using protection while they were intimate, and now this is coming up, so she's like, if he's not being faithful, there aren't going to be no Aviva and Stig relationship. So yeah, I can't wait to see how this all plays out. But yeah, literally trouble in paradise for them. so so yeah, that was Aviva and Stig. Next couple I want to talk is Lisa and Daniel. So Lisa and Daniel, they gotten the blessing from the uncle. They decided to go, and after all that drama that they had last week with the other woman. Now, apparently, that other woman blocked Lisa because I guess Lisa had sent her another message just asking, like, trying to get more info, and she got blocked. So we were all saying last week, if that other woman didn't have proof of their screenshots, maybe it didn't really happen. And for once, I may agree with Lisa on this. She's like, if she's gonna block me, then maybe she's just jealous of me and Daniel, basically, and wanted Daniel for herself, and he chose me. And you know what? I for once might have to agree with that because normally when people will say they have screenshots, they save them screenshots, and they will do everything they can to prove that they were right from screenshot to screenshot. So, so the fact that all of it was all deleted, it probably all was a lie, and maybe Daniel was telling the truth in that moment. So after that conversation, they decided to go. They're going to meet a king in their little Nigerian tribe or whatever. and they go to meet this king. Lisa's all excited because she never met a king before. I think it's, you know, I don't know. I have my opinions on that. I'm gonna keep that to myself. But they met up with the uncle and they go meet this king, and the uncle introduces the king to them. This is my nephew and his like future wife. They want to get married. Can you give him another blessing or stuff like that? So this king guy, he does his little traditional things, and he says his ancestors approve of this. So he told Lisa to come and lay her palms out. And Lisa has a nervous laugh, so she just starts smiling and laughing. And the king had asked her, like, "Are you going to take care of him?" And she was like, "Yes, I will." And then the king was like, "I don't believe you. I don't think so." And then she starts laughing, like, "Really, like, really," and stuff. And he's like, "Why are you laughing? This ain't funny. Why are you laughing? Go sit down over there. You don't see me laughing. Like, why are you laughing?" She's like, "Keen, I'm sorry. I have a nervous laugh. I laugh when I'm nervous." He's like, "You laughing? You're nervous. You don't laugh until I tell you to laugh." And so Daniel's like, "Man, this is crazy. I don't know if I'm about to get the blessing." But Daniel's like, "Listen, King, she's really trying to learn. She's a really good woman. She's really trying to learn our culture and everything." And he was like, "Okay, cool, sit down." So the king tells Lisa to come back over here again, and she's like, "Open up your hands." And Uncle had to inform her, "Don't laugh again." So then they go through it again, and then the king was like, "Now you can laugh." And at first she wasn't laughing. She's like, "You go ahead, laugh. You can laugh now. I promise you can laugh now." And so she starts laughing. She's like, "You got my permission to laugh." And he basically gave the blessing. And he went, and then after he gave the blessing, he asked, like, I want this sister to do a dance. So they did a little African dance and everything, and it was cute. Now, I think that this little king thing, like I said, I'm not going to comment too much on it. I think it's okay. I mean, it is a culture thing, and that's all. That's the only thing I'll say. It's a culture thing, and everything. But okay. But here's my thing now, and I can't wait for next week as we see this. Lisa still has not told Daniel that she's still married and still married to a woman and stuff. They want to get married. Lisa has gone through two blessings and gotten blessing from a king to get married, and she is still holding on and has not been faithful to honest with Daniel about her still being married. And she's finally next week going to come clean about it. Oh my God, this is bad. This is bad because yeah, you got into, they're really, the Nigerian culture, they're really strict when it comes to their culture and their views and stuff and everything. And you've had plenty of opportunities to come clean about you still being married. This shouldn't even been a thing. Like you should have told that even before you went over to Nigeria and everything. But you got in two blessings, and including a blessing from a king, and like this is ridiculous. And we like to think that the Africans, like the Nigerians and the Ghanaians, are scammers and stuff, but this is the first time when I seen, like, this is a scam from Lisa's side. She's getting everything she wants, like blessings and everything, and she's carrying on a lie and stuff. And Daniel's gonna say that next week when she comes clean about it. She called me a scammer, but she's the real scammer, and I agree. I agree. So I can't wait for next week when when Lisa tells Daniel the truth. It's gonna break Daniel's heart, and I'm gonna feel so bad. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. So that was Lisa and Daniel. And the last couple we're gonna talk is Forrest and Sheena. Now we love Forrest and Sheena. We love them. Um, Forrest and Sheena decided to go out to this mall in the Philippines, and this mall was really nice. It was had like a little taste of Italy type of mall. They had the shops around, and then they had like water and a boat ride that you see, like that you see in Italy and see that spot in Chicago and stuff and everything. When Forrest and Sheena got to the mall, they went to this place where they put on like knight and shining armor outfits and everything, and just played around with swords and stuff a little bit. It was very cute. Then after that, they went on a little boat ride and everything, and tried to talk Italian, and the guy doing the boat was just like, "Lord, people, shut up, shut up," and everything. So then they decided to after the boat ride, they decided to have a conversation about Sheena's lying. And with the line about this fine, I just don't understand why everybody's so focused on her finances, but whatever. But her lying, Sheena revealed that she had an ex that she dated for a while, and then come to find out that he cheated and he was dating somebody else um, throughout their whole relationship, and it tore her up. And so she feels that like she lied because she was scared to lose Forrest and stuff, because she blamed herself for not being the woman that she should have been with that other guy. No excuse to lie, Sheena. That's not an excuse. People have gone through that so many times. That's not an excuse to be lying. I'm sorry. I call BS on that. We love you, but I call BS on that. So, Forrest is like, you need to really stop this lying, though, and everything. And she was like, I promise, Pooh Bear, I will be more honest with you. She just got to say the right things, and Forrest would just believe her and everything. So, with that being said, Forrest decides to, what? I love Sheena, I love spending time with Sheena. And he gets down on his knee and proposes to Sheena. And she says yes. Forrest and Sheena are officially engaged. It was really cute. But here comes the toughest part. They have to go back to the hotel and tell Forrest's parents that they're engaged. So they get back to the hotel. Forrest's mom Molly was just sitting out there and by the pool waiting on them. And they come up and tell her that we got engaged. And Mother Molly, she was furious to hear that. She's like, "Are you out of your effing mind? Like, are you just sick and everything?" And then Forrest is like, "You're being an a-hole. You're being an a-hole basically with your opinions and everything." And Sheena was shaking her head like yes, and she was like, "Don't you dare shake your head. Why are you shaking your head? You better not be agreeing with them. You know what? You got in his head, and now he's all over the place. Forrest, your life was ruined." I'm like, dang, like, let your son grow up, Molly. Jeez. If he's in love with this girl, and he ain't this, I know he's had a rough time and he needs a little extra help and everything, but he's not that, he's in his 30s, and she's in her 40s. Let them grow up. But they're happy, let them be happy, basically. And she's just like bashing them and stuff and everything. And the fact that Forrest called his mom, their opinion, an A, I was cracking up. And then she nodding her head yes, and then she get mad at Sheena. Why are you agreeing with and stuff and everything? That's crazy. Oh my God. Oh my God. So we'll see the continuation of that. But I'm happy for Forrest and Sheena. I really am. And I just hope that they get through this. But then Mother Molly, she needs to chill. Really needs to chill. So yeah, that was Forrest and Sheena, and that was it, guys. We did not see Rick and Trisha. I think they'll be back next week. And we did not see my favorite couple, Javon and Annalyn. I'll probably message Annalyn to see like why. I want to see more of them. But yeah, so we didn't see Rick and Trisha, Javon and Annalyn, but welcome to the Phil, Elise, and Joshua. We'll get to meet Joshua next week, and it looks like Trisha's going to forgive Rick for what happened, because we haven't seen them since that episode when he told her about the Colombian ex. So here we go. But anyway, guys, that is the end of my review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be back on tomorrow and Tuesday to recap The Single Life, so be ready for that. And by the way, guys, I've been watching Love is Blind. I can't get into it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to cover it. I can't get into it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm still going to be looking at other shows. I have another show that I'm looking at right now, but I'm sorry. Love is Blind off the table on my channel. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to keep track. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. We do get some Married at First Sight news. They did announce like future seasons, like it's been renewed for multiple seasons coming up from like cities like Detroit, Washington, D.C., um, and a few others and stuff and everything. So I do know the next season in Seattle is coming out soon, but still no official date. So yeah, a little Married at First Sight news with that. But until then, I like I said, I'll still try to find some content to do, guys, instead of just 90 Day. But I'm sorry. I tried to do Love is Blind. I just can't do it. I'm sorry. But I'll see you guys back for the single live. Love you guys. Have a good one. Bye, y'all.